Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Deeply Renegade podcast. My name is Molly, also known as the Deeply Renegade, and I'd like to welcome you guys to episode 470. Today is Saturday, August 17th, 2024, and I'm glad you could join me today. It's maybe a little bit of a glum day. It was also funny because yesterday I was hearing sound checks again, and so it turns out there's another concert in the park. For which you can't really tell what's going on entirely, but whatever. I guess it's System of a Down and Deftones. But I don't feel like I feel motivated enough to get within hearing distance. So, I don't know, Deftones is the band that Pandora decided I should like, which is probably true. Based on everything else I liked. So, what it be? It's been um a little bit of a strange period of time since the last episode. So, I had forgotten that my in-laws were coming out to visit before they come out to visit again later this month. So, as a result, I will would it be? I had to delay podcasting. But it's also just been a little bit weird because I've been having some carpal tunnel. Hopefully it's not for the long term, but it has meant that would it be like it just feels like the first three fingers of my right hand are asleep, which is definitely a liability for spinning. um and or what it be? So that's a bummer. So this whole entire time I have been I've been knitting, because that doesn't seem to be as annoying. And it will be the case where I did get some, or would it be? So I got a wrist brace to wear while I'm sleeping, and it probably helps. um, I'm not supposed to wear it the rest of the time, so um, yeah, but it may just be the case where there might not be a lot of spinning in the coming months, unfortunately. So, oh well. But I am knitting. Maybe this is a bad idea, but I don't think I could like not knit. So, whatever. But um yeah, I was thinking about what this episode title should be, and I think spinning hiatus might be what we end up calling it. Um which is crazy making because what would it be? Um Basically what it means is that there's just no possible way that I could finish my sweater spin for Stash Dash this year. And honestly, I'm gonna take a stab and say that this this shawl that I'm working on right now might be the only thing I finish before the end of the month. Um, and also it's gonna be maybe like medium level hilarious. Um, what is it? Because what it be? I'll just have to see what happens. Um, so when I talked to you guys last, I was showing you this shawl before I was showing you a cowl, which is the Rime cowl by Olga Jazzy, that I was knitting out of some combo spun hand spun from a wild onion swap and Lola Bean Yarn Company that I'd picked up, um, whatever, at um, whatever, Modern Daily Knitting in Nashville when, whatever. So I was like immediately knitting some SSK stash. Um, and so I was taking the class with Olga, um, and I just could not find in my stash a yarn that I wanted to go with this handspun. And I think I was very successful in picking up the Lola Bean. I didn't even have the yarn with me, and I feel like it was a super good choice because the Lola Bean is picking up like greens and purples and oranges, and that's absolutely some of the colors that are showing up in this, so not too shabby. Um, and where I was last week, I had knit through one one skein of the Lola Bean, and then I changed my mind. So I was like halfway done. I was halfway done with the project, and I decided that I didn't want a cowl. Um, like have I knit quite a few cowls? Yes. Do I wear them very often? No. Um, I don't know what it is. Like I'm more likely to wear a shawl for whatever reason. Though this one is definitely a bit different than my usual because like I'm holding the DK doubled and the handspun is um a cable, so it's like a chunky. So it is also it's pretty dense. um so yeah. I'm just trying to finish the row. Um, so this is gonna be a pretty heavy shawl when it's done, but I still feel like I'm solid on that one. Like I definitely was going to wear wear a shawl more than I was going to be wearing a cowl. And I do really love the way the yarns are combining together. I feel like they complement each other really nicely. Um, and it's been a reasonably enjoyable project to work on. Maybe making myself do a little bit of extra work because instead of knitting it in the round as a cowl, I am now knitting it as a crescent shaped shawl. So there are, or would it be? So previously it was all just brioche knitting all the time. And now's the case where I do on certain rows need to have like purl back, basically, or brioche purl back. It's also, or would be, it's also the case where I think it's fun because it is going to be a fairly reversible object. Um, so that's also festive. It's also interesting how the colors are working out. Because like a given run of color is definitely shorter shorter than a row by a long shot. So that's also interesting to me as well. Um, but yeah, I think this has been a fun project. I don't know if it's helping or hurting, but would it be? But it is the case where I think I do want to wrap it up. I do I do want to count it all for Stash Dash, and we'll go from there. Um, so where I'm at right now is I've actually, so I was working on it last night, and I definitely like took a look at my ball of handspun. It was like, hmm, it's it's almost over, and then I think I've confirmed a couple of different ways. I don't have enough yarn to finish a row. So we're going to listen. Um, or would it be like I probably have like I don't know, like 1 to 1.5 yards of yarn. But I don't think that's gonna get me all that particularly far. Like it's definitely the case where it's like just like double the length of the shawl, not not triple. And it would be like we can estimate. We can use pi, right? We can use pi to estimate that. So if it was a little bit more than 3, maybe I would have tried, but I think this is the case where that's like, oh no, no way. Um, so I think I've done my last multicolored row, and so what I'm going to do is knit some more rows of the blue, and then bind off. So it feels like it's a very reasonable amount of work, in order to get to the end of this guy. So I wasn't able to complete like a full sort of pattern sequence here, before running out, but I don't think it's gonna matter too much. So I have alternating areas which have, so I have vertical stripes, I have 1 by 1 horizontal stripes, more vertical stripes, then I have 2 by 2 horizontal stripes, and then it vertical stripes and the 1 by 1 again. I was in a vertical stripe section when I ran out, so I was like halfway. So I'd been doing sort of like 8 row repeats arbitrarily. And then just sort of looking at the section below to see where I was. So I have, in order to make the crescent shape, what I do is I have increases at the beginning of every row, and then I have occasional places in the shawl where I added increases, which you can sort of see as like a festive sort of blooming pattern. And at some point, I went from having 1 and 2 to 2 and 3, just to make sure that I did actually have it be more crescenty. Um, but yeah, so this is definitely a good size shawl. Should be able to wrap around no problem. Definitely gonna black out huge. Um, and I do love sort of the rainbowness of it all. Um, so it definitely looks stripy in a given spot, but depending on where you look, it'll be like different colors that are stacking on top of each other. Um, it wrote to be so like the 1 by 1 is definitely pretty syncopated. And then it's maybe like just like mildly syncopated in the 2 by 2 horizontal stripes. Um, so far so good. Um, enjoying working on the project. Will be a lot of fun to block. I'm really loving how yarns have come together. Um, but it's not gonna be too much longer because I definitely have seriously depleted this ball of yarn. Um, haven't waited yet to see. Um, like alternatively, I could there is the possibility of like binding off now, but I'm not so sure. Not so sure I want to mess around with that necessarily. We'll see. Um, because I'm not sure whether or not I'm gonna get enough rows to make that plan look on purpose, as you do, or if I need to make like a pattern change, like switch to more of like a 1 by 1 brioche rib instead of the oops all brioche. Um, yeah, I guess I can show you the other side. So you can definitely, or what is it? So you can definitely see the pattern here, and I think that this ends up counting as like honeycomb technically. So like I think it will look good on both sides, and you can definitely see like the color dominance working there. So but it's definitely going to be a good sized amount of knitted fabric, and it won't be like awkwardly sized. So I'll have to decide what way I go on that. Probably will weigh the yarn and decide what I want to do exactly. Because if it's like not like a ton of yarn left, then maybe I just want to bind off now. Let's see. Prepare the scale. Definitely don't need a lot. Yeah, that bag is pretty chaotic right now. All right. Scale is on. We have. Okay, so it's like currently it's probably about 24, 25 grams of yarn. If we can trust anything that the scale is saying right now. $23-ish. So I think if it was like 10, it would be pretty easy to be like, just finish it. But since it's like 24, I may just have to knit and weigh a couple of times and go from there. I don't even know if I can look and see about where I ended up joining together, because effectively speaking, I hand wound the first ball. I ball wound, or I used the ball winder for the second one. So I basically just because I had just the loop at the end, so then I just Russian joined the two tails and have been knitting from there. So whatever. But that was what got most of my knitting time this week. I just sort of carried it around. I don't know if big yarn and big needles was exactly what I needed, but at least it was pleasant to do. The other thing is I am working on the Dark Father socks. So this is the Anakin colorway, and I'm just doing a 2x1 rib. I'm not close to needing to put a heel in at this point, so I won't. But it'd be probably I'll have to. I may just use my spouse's socks as the gauge for this one. So we got 2 full pattern repeats and on my way, or 1 full pattern repeat, sorry. We'll just go from there. So this might end up getting a lot more love in the coming weeks, just because it's, I don't know, unless it makes my hands not feel good, but it should be okay. And then I'm not sure if I'm going to finish in time, but I do have my paper. So this is still working on the back, still going from there, definitely up high for, I don't know, we'll figure out. I don't know, this is the back anyways. So, I honestly can't tell you if I've worked at all on this in the last 3 weeks. So what would it be? I definitely took some measurements, and I think the conclusion was that I wasn't there yet. or was it? Because it was a case where, so I definitely have knit sweaters before where, um, like that underarm to bind off measurements like 18 inches. This sweater calls for 17, which is fine. Um, but it definitely was feeling like, are we there yet? But this is like 13 to 14. So I still have some time to go before the end. Um, it felt a little bit while I was working on this cable that it was showing like it was going to be wrapping up before I was even done with the body, but it was fine. Um, and then what is it? So it does call for a split hem, and I'll have to double check on where exactly they want me to begin the split or whether or not I want to start the split in a different spot. They have a little bit of edge treatment for that. Um, it doesn't seem too crazy where it's at right now. Like I'm only just a little bit past the last cable motif here. And it does look very nice in the cloudy, foggy light today. So really gorgeous, really fun. Um, Not what I wanted to work on the past 3 weeks, but such is life. Um, and then I think the only other update that I have is I did end up ripping out the hat. So hat is all ripped out. My size 1 needles are in the bag, ready to go. So if I desire a challenge, then I can do that because I have probably learned all the skills to do that. And then what is it? And then I have my, would it be, then I have this yarn, which is for dragon making without needles. I already swatched, and I'm already really excited about combining those two yarns together. So it's Seismic Dyeworks and Mitchell's Fiber Arts in 2 different rainbow colors, and super gorgeous. Really excited about making that. Um, but I don't know. There was also like a sweater, another sweater I wanted to make too. So a small sweater. But I feel like, or would it be? I think I just have to laugh because I had been reasonably monogamous on the Piper sweater for a while there, and then I was distracted. So it'll be interesting to see what ends up going down. But uh, we'll just have to see how it goes. Um, as you do. So so we'll see what happens. If I'm gonna end up picking the Piper back up again because I have like I don't know. It seems very ambitious. I don't know if I'm, or would it be? So in a few weeks I will be flying to China. Should be a good time. Um Definitely have like a couple of details I still need to hammer out. I was supposed to be going with a coworker, but they foolishly didn't plan the trip right away. I gave him everything he needed. So, or would it be? it'd be the case where he's working on a project that's offset in time from mine, so his busy season is now and my busy season starts next week. um who knows, whatever. But it was the case where it is the case where um so I just have to laugh about it. So it'd be the case where I need to now account, or I just need to make sure that I have plans in place for um would it be getting rides to and from certain places. So I'll need to have like a ride from the airport to the hotel. It doesn't sound like I have dinner plans my first night, so I won't be having dinner with that one coworker. um, whatever. So, so roughly speaking, whatever, I need to plan to get back up to where the office is, all this fun stuff. And then at some point, like I'll actually be like properly visiting factories, and so they tend to have like shuttle to the hotel and shuttle to the airport. Um, so that should make it easier at least. Um, so we'll see. We'll see how it goes. It was also, I think it was also just funny because what would it be? It was like, all right, like you're in charge of finding a spot. For a coworker I will be, or a coworker that I've been mentoring for the past year. It was like, you're in charge of finding it. It's like, you need to give me more details. So we narrowed down on a dish. And so he's in charge of finding the place, and I might be taking a wild group of people there. Whatever. So, enough to say, I will be in charge of keeping myself alive, visiting factories, and knitting the crap out of whatever I want. So, I may end up bringing all of my projects with me just 'cause. um, and for this specific trip, would it be after, um, so it was the case where I was just gonna have a big bag, I'm gonna have plenty to do, it's fine. Um, so not too crazy, but whatever. So what is it? Like I have all my patterns. I think I have all my yarn. That's probably fine. I just have to make sure that my knitting needles are somewhere accessible and go from there. Do, do, do. Maybe make sure that I don't have this bag with me because I think this has stuff. Yeah. I want to put this stuff away because what is it? Like I feel like glass. I guess it's plastic, but the barber cord might be ominous. I like washi tape. I don't even know. We'll see. I'm amused by the sock ruler. I might end up keeping that in my bag. That was nice. We shall see. Um, but the little scissors, I probably a bad idea to bring to China. Like, I'll just go with my nail clippers. It'll be fine. So, what would it be? So, um, it may be the case where it won't be until I end up getting back from my trip before I get to show off the shawl that I'm hopefully finishing soon. Um, whatever. I'll put a I'm probably gonna put a good burn on it um tomorrow because I will be hanging out with friends and giving myself a low bar. um I'm gonna bring cantaloupe. Great. I was wondering if I wanted to bake today, but I think the answer is I don't feel like baking. I feel like cutting cantaloupe. So I will be able to do that. Um so, maybe I'll be able to finish by then. We'll see. Um and then um it's probably back to the sweater for a while. Um unless it seems like I don't know. I can't tell whether or not it's quixotic to try to push through to finish that sweater in time. So we'll see. But um what was it? The samples that I ended up making ended up bringing me up to um 9,548 meters for Stash Dash. And so like the shawl will get me over 10K, and 10K is pretty good for a mostly knitting Stash Dash in my mind. Um just a little bit of spinning this year. So I was it because it definitely doesn't feel like I'm lacking for inspiration. It's more like some time and some, would it be just whatever, at least a little bit of ability until we can get my hands sorted out. Crazy making. So should be good. I probably or I feel like I will end up recording an episode while I'm in China. Um, that shouldn't be too big a deal. Because I will get 2 weekends. And so it will be the case where next planned episode will be done anyways. Um, so not too crazy. It might end up pushing to Sunday instead of Saturday, but that's fine because it'll be Dateline anyway, so um maybe I won't even be able to upload to YouTube. Maybe that's what'll stop me. um Whatever, it's fine. So not too crazy there. Um yeah, I think the only other excitement is that my child is now in preschool. Apparently the teachers are very impressed with uh how well he's adjusted so far. We weren't too worried about it because he likes being around people and leaving the house. um but now he's like just like a little bit sick, and so it's a little hard on us right now. um so he's running a low fever, runny nose, and is not sleeping that great, so poor guy. But whatever, exciting times ahead of us. So um and also like just in terms of flexibility, like so my spouse had like a work event that was going to end up going late, and we figured out that it was actually possible for me to do drop off, drive to a different bus stop, pick up my same bus, and then at the end of the day get dropped off at the closer to the preschool bus stop and pick up in plenty of time. So So I don't need to work remote on weeks when my spouse is out of the country or out of town, which is which is pretty cool because like 7:30 instead of like 8:45. That's all the time I needed. um so for $3 in parking, I'll take it. Um and maybe that also means that I don't need to it might also mean that I don't need to um or I'd be up to my discretion about driving in some days of the week. We'll see. Fun times. So, what would it be? I think the only thing he's learned so far is my turn, and he might be speaking Mandarin to us, but we don't know. I can count to three. um, so whatever. But I don't know, a lot. So basically, just a lot of exciting life stuff has happened, and that's fine. So, would it be? So, with that, I hope you guys have a lovely week, and I look forward to talking to you guys soon. So, take care, guys. Bye bye.